Carbon Landscape Partnership was set up to deliver a programme of activity that would help to connect all our wonderful wildlife sites together so that we have a resilient landscape. So we came together to do that, but also as it is such an urban area, we really want to inspire people to come see what the wildlife is that's here and feel inspired to get involved.
The heritage of the carbon landscape is the heritage of the Industrial Revolution, the Industrial Revolution that changed the way we do everything. This is the landscape that fueled the factories of Manchester, that fueled the innovation and the changes in how we make things. It's also a place where we destroyed much of that nature, and a place where nature's coming back into the gaps, into the subsidence, into the ponds that were left behind by the scars of the Industrial Revolution. It's a landscape with a heritage of carbon, of using carbon, of fueling the Industrial Revolution, of moving things through the landscape, and now one of moving towards ecological restoration.
So I think green spaces and the mosslands and the restoration of the mosslands are really important to the city of Salford, but also to Greater Manchester. I mean, we're acutely aware that these are natural carbon sinks, and they play a really important role in enabling Greater Manchester to meet its carbon neutrality target for 2038.
Being able to bring in local communities to join in as part of the whole process and to sort of see the process of improving wildlife, improving habitats and connecting the landscape, to sort of work together with local residents and local communities on that, it's been brilliant.
We're looking at flood defence benefits, changing the perceptions of the landscape so that people can see that it's a developing, interesting landscape, getting the biodiversity benefits, getting breeding birds and animals, changing the water quality. Birds have been using the site. We've had red kite, osprey, we've had breeding lapwings, little ring plover. There are fish in the water.
The engagement of the community, they've responded to it incredibly. I couldn't have hoped for a better outcome in that respect. Now it seems like there's a real family atmosphere around the site, and people are enjoying coming here, taking their kids, going for bike rides and spotting wildlife.
Green infrastructure is really, really important to the city of Salford. We also link that with what we're trying to do around healthy lifestyles as well, in terms of cycling and walking infrastructure, and we've been really successful within Greater Manchester with the cycling and walking challenge set down by the Mayor of Greater Manchester, working with our cycling and walking commissioner, and realising that really to get people more active and more enjoying, if you like, the green space and the outdoors. So very, very important.
Of course, none of this could happen if we didn't have really fantastic partnerships. So I hadn't really worked that much at Chat Moss, at Walden Moss. So working with people like Andy and Mike from the Lancashire Wildlife Trust has really helped me to increase my knowledge as well, and then to use my connections with the local community to kind of bring that all together and bring people up here. And we just couldn't do it otherwise. So everyone brings their own local expertise, which is really great.
We're all working together through the carbon landscape to bring this landscape back to life, really. This at Pest-Moss, where we are today, are really key stepping stones in trying to reconnect these sort of islands of surviving habitat together.
The work that's been done at Pest-Moss is removing scrub so that the mossland was drying out and was getting trees growing on it. So we've cleared birch trees over the last winter and also installed a series of dams and a bund as well to actually retain water on site and stop it draining away.
We've already recorded 2 new species of dragonfly that's using the site, laying eggs in the pooled areas. Just seeing such a miraculous turnaround, seeing instant results from the re-wetting process, where we had a dry ditch almost immediately. We've got a ditch full of water, and it's been great to see.
But what we've achieved, we've saved the bog from drying out here, and over time, you know, it's going to develop and become really important, I think.
It's a really important partnership with the local communities themselves. So they've had a history, a lot of people of living on these sites or near these sites for decades and might feel quite negative about what's happened in their lifetimes. So it's really working with them and gaining their trust and helping them to understand that we're onto a more positive pathway now, and that that's something that they and their children and their families and their friends can be involved with.
We've been working with primary school people through to communities, through to the people making decisions, helping them understand their impact on nature and what we can do differently.
Let's hear it for the trees, nature's own residential housing estate. Multi-storey blocks of flats or handsome bungalows quite compact, with the creatures who reside above feeding on those who live below, all seeking safer opportunities to escape.
This canal, a flowing stave of notes and waves carrying songs through the centuries, forever in the air for all those who follow, a depository of hopes and memories.
Carbon Clever is based on a tool which is called Round View, which is very much about working with the children and school teams and thinking about how the local landscapes have been formed, how we as humans have kind of exploited the resources to some good but also to some kind of damaging effects, and really how the children and the schools can be part of a better future for the landscapes. Kind of really thinking positively about and empowering them to think how they can really get involved in making sure the landscapes are in a better state as they get older and become their custodians.
I remember watching the sense of awe on some school children's face when we were opening the boardwalk at Risley Moss, and to realise in their minds how deep the peat was and how long our history goes back with peat, that it goes back to the Iron Age, with people who are using this as a sacrificial area, but how we've extracted that and taken that out. Within our lifetimes, we've been losing this 10,000 years of history right there, and getting their sense of the time and people's interaction with that landscape over time was extraordinary for me. But what makes me particularly excited is the way we've used the story of the heritage to help people rethink their connection to that landscape and to understand where it's come from and what we can all do to change it.
And to actually see it delivering now is like, so I feel so proud of it, and to see it actually being successful is just really fantastic.
That landscape helps us tell the story of how we got to have the environmental problems we've got, but most importantly how we can turn that around and actually move towards a sustainable future where everybody has a role to play, everybody can help with the restoring, help with thinking, how do we stop using carbon?
Within Greater Manchester we have been thinking about the future of this city region, and we have something called the Spatial Framework, which is our plan for homes, jobs and importantly the environment.